Hey everyone, how are you doing? This is Coach Mark. I hope you started your week off pretty amazing. I'm making this video on February 29th. So February 29th is a leap year. Okay, you're probably watching this on March 1st. So I want you to think about first, what have you accomplished so far this year? We're 2 months into this year. What have you accomplished? Have you accomplished everything that you set out to accomplish? Are you on track to have the amazing year that you talked about at the beginning of the year? Just something for you to think about. Well, anyway, I'm making this video on February 29th. You're probably watching it on March 1st. So this year is a leap year. Okay, this year leap years only come around one every 4 years. So let's take advantage of it. All right, let's use this year to leap over all the things that are holding us back from exactly where it is that we want in life, right? Where we want to be in life. So let's leap over our fears, okay? Because they're not doing anything for us. So let's leap over them this year. Let's leap over laziness. Let's leap over disappointment, right? Let's leap over excuses. Let's leap over poverty. Let's leap over confusion. Everything that's holding us back from where it is that we desire to be in life. You are so much greater than all these things. You know what? Decide that this year, this is going to be the year that you leap over all these different things, okay? Because guess what? They're not doing anything for us, right? Let's leap over depression. Let's leap over our problems. Let's leap over bad news. Let's leap over people that aren't causing us any goodness in our life, okay? Let's leap over all this. Let's leap over rejection. And if we're going to leap over all this, we got to have something to leap into. So let's leap into abundance, all right? Let's leap into prosperity. Let's leap into our passions, right? We need to leap into things that we are passionate about, right? We need to leap into those things head first, okay? Let's leap into success, right? Let's leap into power, all right? Let's leap into great relationships and connecting with the right people this year, okay? Because trust me, you're going to meet somebody this year that's going to help you get to where it is that you desire to go to, right? So let's leap into that head first, right? Let's leap into everything that we desire and everything that we dream about, right? Life wasn't meant to be this just existence of us just spending our time here, not enjoying it. Okay, life was meant to be amazing, but we have to make the effort to leap into these things that we want. Leap out, and leap over the things that we don't want, right? And then leap into the things that we do want. All right, because if we don't and we just stay right there, if nothing changes, I say it all the time, if nothing changes, nothing changes. Okay, so if we want some change into our life, we have to go ahead and start making these changes. All right. Um, Finally, I want to share with you this story. All right. I just recently read this story in a book that I'm reading, and the author is talking about his 3-year-old son. Okay, and his 3-year-old son, he's trying to get his 3-year-old son to swim because they have a pool, and he just wants this son to learn how to swim. He realizes that it's easier for a child to swim. It's easier for him to learn how to swim at 3 years old versus when he's 10 or 15 or 20 or whatever age, right? So anyway, and I want us to go back and think about when we learned how to swim, if we ever learned how to swim, right? If you haven't, you probably should have took the opportunity to learn how to swim at a younger age, because it's a lot easier to learn at that younger age. Anyway, so the author takes his son out to the pool, and he's teaching him for days, trying to teach this little kid how to swim, but he has this float on, and he will not give up this float, right? You know, one of those floats that go around you, all right? Those beach floats. So this little kid has this float on, and he will not take this float off, right? No matter what the author does, he's making him all these promises. He won't take the float off. So obviously, he won't learn how to swim because he won't take the float off, right? So the author is a professor at a well-known university. So he finds out that one of his graduate students is a lifeguard as well, during the summertime, and he knows how to swim very well, and he also teaches people how to swim. So he asked the graduate student if he can teach his son how to swim. He's like, yeah, I could teach him how to swim. It's not an issue. Graduate student gets in there, and he's trying to teach his son how to swim. Son still won't take the float off, right? He just will not take the float off. So a couple days go by, and the graduate student goes back to the author and says, you know what, I can't teach him how to swim. This is the first time this has ever happened to me. I'm usually it's pretty easy for me to teach people how to swim, but your son won't take the float off. So if he won't take the float off, it's impossible for him to learn how to swim. So anyway, the author, frustrated, just says, you know what? I'll wait till he gets a little bit older. Maybe when he's about 5 or 6 years old, he'll be a little bit more willing to take the float off. Anyway, a couple months pass. It's summertime, and he sends his son to this summer camp. And one day he comes to pick his son up. And while he's there, his son just jumps in the pool without the float. So he's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe my son just jumped in the pool. And he starts taking off his clothes because he's thinking he's going to have to jump in there after his son. And then all of a sudden, he's taking his shoes off and everything. And he's about to jump in after the son. And then he sees his son swimming. So he's just like blown away. He's like, oh my God, I can't believe it. So when his son gets out the pool, he's like, how did you do that? How did you learn how to swim? Right? And his son says, well, Dad, and this is at 3 years old. He's like, well, Dad, I saw Jimmy, and Jimmy was swimming today, and Jimmy didn't have a float. So I figured that if Jimmy could swim, and Jimmy's 3 years old without the float, and I'm 3 years old, and I can swim without the floats as well. So you know what? I just put those floats down and I just started swimming, right? And that is such a great story as to, at 3 years old, this little kid was able to figure that out. And one of the things that I do in my power and a half hour calls every single week is that I profile 3 people that have attained massive levels of success that started off just like me and you, right? And the reason why I do that, because hopefully we'll take on the mindset of this 3-year-old. We will look at these people and say, you know what? If this person can do it, if this person can become successful, I can do the same thing too, right? And that 3-year-old child instinctively just figured out. He's like, hey, Jimmy is 3 years old. He can swim without the floats. Why can't I swim without the floats? You know what? I can swim without the floats, and he just did it. And that's the same thing goes for us. If all these people that we're studying every single week can become successful, right? Coming from the same backgrounds, many times even worse backgrounds than us, then we can do it as well. Just a little bit of motivation to carry you out throughout the week, something for you to think about. You guys have an amazing week.